What if the thought that has been making your chest feel tight, your mind feel heavy, and your heart feel tired is not the truth at all? What if anxiety is not a message that you are broken, not a sign that life is against you, and not proof that something terrible is about to happen? What if it is only a habit of fear, repeated so many times that it started to sound like your own voice? And what if, beginning today, you could answer that voice with something softer, something wiser, something healing? There are moments in life when the mind becomes so loud that it feels like peace has left the room. The body becomes tense, the breath becomes shallow, the thoughts begin to run in circles. One fearful idea pulls another behind it, and before long, the whole day feels covered in a kind of inner storm. Many people live like this for weeks, months, even years, waiting for a reason to finally feel calm. But peace does not begin when every problem disappears. Peace begins when the thoughts inside you begin to change. Anxiety often feels powerful because it speaks quickly. It does not wait. It rushes in. It tells you that you must solve everything now, fix everything now, understand everything now, protect yourself from every possible pain now. It fills the mind with pressure. It tells you that if you do not stay alert, something bad will happen. It tells you that you are alone in this. It tells you that rest is dangerous, that calm is foolish, that softness is weakness. And after hearing this again and again, it becomes easy to believe it, but not every thought deserves your trust. Not every feeling is a prophecy. Not every wave of fear is telling you the truth. Some thoughts only come from old pain. Some come from tiredness. Some come from years of carrying too much inside without knowing how to put it down. And the healing begins when you stop, bowing to every fearful thought as if it were a king. There is another way to live. There is a slower way, a softer way, a wiser way. There is a way of meeting life where your heart does not have to fight every minute just to feel safe. There is a way of thinking that opens space inside you instead of closing it. There is a way of breathing that tells the body, you can rest now. There is a way of speaking to yourself that does not deepen fear but loosens it. This is the doorway we are stepping through together, not a doorway built from force, not one built from pressure, but one built from healing thoughts, thoughts that calm the nervous system, thoughts that remind the heart of truth, thoughts that gently undo what fear has been trying to build inside you. These thoughts do not have to be fancy. They do not have to be complicated. In fact, the most healing thoughts are often the simplest ones, because truth is simple. Truth does not shout. Truth does not panic. Truth does not rush. Truth has a quiet strength. There are people who believe that anxiety can only be handled by trying harder, by becoming tougher, by forcing the mind into silence, but the mind does not heal through attack. It heals through kindness, repetition, and truth. If a scared child came to you trembling and unable to sleep, you would not yell at that child and say, "Get over it. Stop being afraid. Do better." You would sit gently with that child. You would speak softly. You would help them breathe. You would remind them that they are safe. You would stay present until their body believed it. In many ways, healing anxiety begins in the same way, There is a scared part inside many people that has been waiting a very long time to hear a new message, not a harsh message, not a cold message, a healing one, a message that says you are not in danger right now, a message that says life is not your enemy, a message that says you do not have to carry everything at once, a message that says there is still room for peace. So before we go any further, pause for one moment and notice what is happening inside you right now. Notice your shoulders, notice your jaw, notice your breath, notice whether your mind is trying to rush ahead, trying to predict, trying to protect. You do not need to judge any of it. You only need to notice. This is one of the first acts of healing, to notice without adding more fear, to witness without making yourself wrong, to become aware of the storm without becoming the storm. There is so much power in that, because many people live inside their thoughts without ever stepping back enough to see them. They become so close to the fear that they forget fear is not the same thing as truth. But the moment you observe a thought, instead of instantly obeying it, a little space appears, and inside that space, healing can begin. The mind that lives in anxiety is of 10 always reaching forward. It asks, what if tomorrow goes wrong? What if I fail? What if I lose something? What if I am not enough? What if things never get better? It is always trying to live in a future that has not arrived. It spends so much energy on what might happen that it forgets to feel what is actually here. And in doing so, it misses one of the deepest truths of peace. This moment is often much kinder than the mind says it is. Right now, in this breath, in this second, in this exact moment, the heart can begin to come home. Not because every question has been answered, but because the present moment is where your power is. Anxiety loves the future because the future is where fear can imagine anything. But healing lives here, in this breath, in this body, in this gentle return to now. There is something else important to remember. Anxiety does not mean you are weak. It does not mean you are failing at life. It does not mean you lack faith. It often means you have been carrying too much for too long. It often means your inner world has been trying to protect you the only way it knows how. It means your system has learned to stay on guard, and while that guard may have once felt necessary, it does not always serve you now. Healing is not about hating the anxious part of yourself. Healing is about teaching it a new way. It is about showing that fearful part that there are thoughts more worthy of repetition. It is about replacing habits of panic with habits of peace. It is about opening a window inside the mind and letting in some light. For many people, anxiety has become so normal that peace feels strange, stillness feels suspicious, quiet feels empty, rest feels like something they have to earn. And because of this, they do not just fear the outer world, they begin to fear the very thing that could heal them. They fear slowing down. They fear letting go. They fear not being in control. But miracles do not enter a life that is clenched shut. They enter where there is space. They enter where there is openness. They enter where the heart softens enough to receive something new. The door to miracles is not pushed open by force. It opens when fear is no longer the loudest voice in the room. It opens when peace becomes welcome again. It opens when healing thoughts are repeated until the soul remembers what it knew before fear took over. And perhaps this is what you need most right now. Not another warning, not another demand, not another reason to feel behind. Perhaps what you need is permission to stop fighting your own mind for one moment. Permission to breathe without solving. Permission to be held by a wiser truth. Permission to understand that your anxious thoughts are not the only thoughts available to you. There are thoughts that heal. There are thoughts that calm. There are thoughts that help the body loosen and the heart true. Again, they do not erase all pain in 1 second, but they begin to change the direction of your inner life. And once the direction changes, everything begins to shift. If you have been living with anxiety, you may know how tiring it is to be afraid of things that have not happened. You may know what it feels like to wake up already tense, to go through the day with a racing mind, to smile on the outside while carrying noise on the inside. You may know how lonely it can feel when no one else sees the battle inside your chest. But what if this battle is not meant to be fought with more battle? What if it is meant to be healed with truth? What if the answer is not to become harder, but gentler? What if peace is not somewhere far away, but something that begins to return the moment you stop feeding fear the same old words? There is a reason healing thoughts matter so much. A thought is not just a sentence in the mind. A thought creates a feeling changes the body sends signals back to the mind. Then the mind creates more thoughts that match the feeling, and a cycle begins. This is why anxious thinking can feel so strong. It keeps feeding itself. A fearful thought creates tension. Tension makes the body feel unsafe. The unsafe feeling creates more fearful thoughts. The circle goes on and on. But the same thing can happen with healing. A gentle thought can soften the breath. A softer breath can calm the body. A calmer body can send a new signal to the mind. Then the mind becomes more open to peaceful thoughts. And a new circle begins. A healing circle, a softer circle, a more truthful circle. That is why these healing thoughts matter. They are not just pretty ideas. They are not empty phrases to repeat without feeling. They are keys. They are seeds. They are small but powerful openings inside a mind that may have been closed for too long. One healing thought can interrupt a fearful pattern. One healing thought can keep a hard moment from becoming a hopeless one. One healing thought can remind you that there is another way to meet what you are feeling. Even before the full peace arrives, the mind can begin to turn in a new direction, and when that happens, the heart feels it. The beautiful thing is that healing does not ask you to become someone else. It does not ask you to perform perfection. It does not ask you to never feel fear again. It only asks for willingness to speak to yourself in a new way, willingness to stop agreeing with every fearful story, willingness to plant different thoughts in the soil of your mind. That is enough to begin. You do not need to have total faith right away. You do not need to feel calm every second. You only need to be open enough to let a new thought in, just one, then another, then another. This is how peace returns, quietly, repeatedly, gently, not by force, but by practice. And here is the promise hidden inside all of this. Anxiety may be low, but it is not the deepest truth of your life. Fear may have visited you often, but it does not own your soul. Tension may have been your habit, but it does not have to be your future. There is still a deeper place in you that knows peace. There is still a wiser part of you that knows how to breathe, how to trust, how to rest, how to receive. There is still a light in you that fear has not touched. Sometimes healing is simply the slow return to that light. Sometimes it is remembering what has always been true beneath the noise. You are not meant to live every day trapped in dread. You are not meant to carry tomorrow before it arrives. You are not meant to stand guard at the door of life every hour of the day. You are allowed to soften. You are allowed to heal. You are allowed to open the door to something better. The heart does not need grand speeches to begin healing. It needs truth. It can actually hold. It needs words it can believe a little more each day. It needs thoughts that feel like warm hands instead of cold walls. And that is what we are walking into now. Not ideas that make the mind work harder, but thoughts that make the soul breathe easier. Thoughts simple enough to remember in the middle of a hard moment. Thoughts true enough to repeat when fear starts speaking. Thoughts healing enough to begin changing the way you live inside yourself. These thoughts can quiet the storm. These thoughts can interrupt the spiral. These thoughts can end the habit of living in constant inner alarm. These thoughts can open the door to miracles, because miracles begin where fear loosens its grip and trust begins to grow. So if your mind has been tired, if your body has been tense, if your heart has been asking for relief, stay here. Let this be the moment you stop calling fear your only guide. Let this be the moment you choose a different voice to follow, a softer voice, a wiser voice, a healing voice, not because life suddenly became perfect, but because truth deserves more room inside you than fear has been getting. The first shift may be small. It may only feel like one deeper breath. It may only feel like a little less panic than yesterday. It may only feel like one thought that does not hurt as much. But do not underestimate small shifts. A door does not need to open all at once to begin opening. A little light is still light. A little peace is still peace. And one healing thought, sincerely repeated, can become the beginning of a completely different inner life. The heart of this message is very simple. Anxiety is often fed by the thoughts you repeat, and healing begins when those thoughts begin to change. This does not mean that every hard feeling can be solved in one moment. It does not mean that pain is fake or that struggle is imagined. It means that the mind has habits, and habits can be changed. Many people live under the rule of thoughts they never chose on purpose, thoughts picked up in childhood, thoughts learned from fear, thoughts shaped by pain, disappointment, or uncertainty, thoughts repeated so often that they begin to sound like fact. But repetition does not make something true. Repetition only makes something familiar, and many people are living inside familiar fear, mistaking it for truth, when what they really need is a new pattern of inner speech. If you listen closely to anxiety, you will notice something important. It repeats itself. It does not create endless new ideas. It returns to the same fears in different clothes. It says something is wrong. It says you are not safe. It says you must control this. It says you are behind. It says you are not enough. It says something bad is coming. It says you cannot relax yet. This is why anxiety can feel so convincing. It is not always loud because it is true. It is often loud because it is practiced. A thought repeated again and again begins to dig a path in the mind. The more often it is used, the easier the mind returns to it. Then one small worry quickly becomes 10. This is not because you are weak. It is because the mind follows what it knows, and healing begins when you lovingly teach it something new to know. This is where the 4 healing thoughts become so powerful. They are not random sentences. They are chosen truths designed to interrupt what fear has been repeating. They are simple enough to remember when the mind feels crowded. They are soft enough to enter the heart without resistance. They are strong enough to begin shifting the inner ground beneath anxiety. Each healing thought speaks to one of the roots of anxious suffering. One speaks to fear. One speaks to distrust. One speaks to control. One speaks to closed-heartedness. And together they create a new path through the mind. A path toward calm, a path toward trust, a path toward openness, a path toward the kind of inner stillness where miracles can finally be felt. It is important to understand that healing thoughts are not about pretending everything is perfect. They are not about ignoring real emotions. They are not about covering pain with empty positivity. Real healing is never fake. Real healing tells the truth, but it tells the deeper truth. Anxiety says, I feel afraid, therefore I must be in danger. Healing says, I feel afraid, but feeling afraid does not always mean I am in danger. Anxiety says, I do not know what will happen, so I should panic. Healing says, I do not know what will happen, and I can still breathe here in this moment. Anxiety says, I must control everything or things will fall apart. Healing says, I can do my part and still release what is not mine to carry. Healing thoughts do not deny your humanity, they guide it. The mind believes what it hears often, especially when those words carry emotion. This is true whether the words are damaging or healing. A person who spends years saying, I am never enough, begins to feel it everywhere. Person who repeats, nothing ever works for me, begins to expect disappointment before anything begins. A person who keeps saying, I cannot handle life, starts to feel weak before the day even starts. These thoughts become emotional instructions. The body listens, the nervous system listens, the heart listens. Life begins to be filtered through those repeated messages, but the same law works in healing. When a person starts saying, "I am safe in this moment," the body begins to soften. When a person repeats, "Life is working for me, not against me," the heart becomes less defensive. When a person says, "I release the need to control everything," the breath gets deeper. When a person says, "I am open to miracles and good things," the inner world becomes less closed. Thought by thought, a different life begins to form. Many people do not realize how much their anxiety is connected to the story they keep telling themselves. They may notice the racing heart, the restless sleep, the tension in the shoulders, the heavy feeling in the chest, but underneath all of that is often a repeating inner story, a story of danger, a story of lack, a story of helplessness, a story of constant pressure. The body reacts to the story as if it were happening now. That is why changing the story matters. The mind cannot keep feeding the body fear and expect the body to stay peaceful. In the same way, the body cannot be given regular messages of safety, trust, and surrender without eventually beginning to respond. It may take time, it may take patience, but it matters. Every thought is a signal. Every repeated sentence is shaping something. Imagine the mind as a room that has had the same dark music playing for years. At first you may not even notice it because you have heard it for so long. It just feels normal, but it still affects everything. It affects the mood of the room. It affects the way you move inside it. It affects how safe or unsafe that room feels. Healing thoughts are like changing the music. At first, the new sound may feel unfamiliar. You may not fully believe it. You may even feel resistance. But if the new music keeps playing, the whole atmosphere changes. The same room starts to feel different. The same mind starts to feel different. The same life starts to be experienced in a different way. This is why the thoughts you choose matter so much. They create the atmosphere inside you. The 4 healing thoughts in this message are meant to be lived with, not just heard once and forgotten. They are thoughts to return to in the middle of the day, thoughts to whisper when fear begins to rise, thoughts to repeat in the morning before the noise of the world enters, thoughts to carry into sleep, thoughts to place like light inside dark corners of the mind. You do not need dozens of affirmations. You do not need complicated spiritual language. You need truth that reaches you when you are vulnerable. You need words that your nervous system can begin to try. Boost. You need thoughts that do not add pressure, but remove it. One of the most beautiful things about healing thoughts is that they work gently. Fear often works by force. It rushes, pushes, warns, and demands. Healing does not move like that. Healing enters quietly. It repeats patiently. It stays near. It does not shame you for being afraid. It simply keeps offering another way to see, another way to breathe, another way to interpret what is happening inside you. Over time, this matters more than many people realize, because you become the voice your own heart hears most often. And if that voice begins to change, the whole inner world begins to change with it. There is also a spiritual truth here. The thoughts you repeat are not only shaping your emotions, they are shaping what you are open to receiving. A mind filled with fear expects fear. A heart filled with distrust closes its doors. A spirit filled with constant control cannot easily feel grace. But when the inner world begins to relax, when the thoughts become softer and more trusting, something opens. Life feels less like a threat and more like a relationship. The day feels less like a battlefield and more like a path. People begin to notice little moments of help, little moments of beauty, little moments of perfect timing. These are not always dramatic miracles. Sometimes they are quiet miracles, a peaceful breath where panic used to be, a kind answer where tension used to rise, a strange sense of support in the middle of uncertainty, a thought of hope where fear used to sit alone. Miracles often begin in small, quiet ways. This is why the main idea of this message matters so deeply. Anxiety is not only something that happens to you, it is also something that can be fed or softened by the way you speak inside yourself. And that means healing is closer than many people think. If the mind helped build the fear, the mind can also be trained toward peace, not overnight, not through pressure, but through practice, through truth, through repetition, through compassion, through simple healing thoughts repeated until they begin to feel natural. This is not weakness, this is wisdom. It takes wisdom to understand that the inner voice matters. It takes wisdom to stop talking to yourself in ways that make fear stronger. It takes wisdom to choose a new thought before the old one has fully faded. And it takes wisdom to keep practicing until the new thought becomes a new way of being. The reason we are focusing on 4 healing thoughts is because the mind needs clarity. Too many ideas can become more noise, but 4 strong thoughts, repeated with feeling, can begin to shape the day. 4 thoughts can create a rhythm. 4 thoughts can become anchors. When life feels uncertain, anchors matter. They keep the heart from drifting too far into fear. They remind the body where it can come back to rest. They give the mind something healthier to hold. Gee, when it wants to spiral, these thoughts are not meant to be decorations. They are meant to become inner companions. They are meant to meet you in real moments. In the morning when you wake with tension, in the afternoon when your thoughts begin to rush, in the evening when you replay the day, in the middle of the night when the mind tries to frighten you with tomorrow, the right thought, spoken at the right moment, can save you from falling deeper into fear. The first great shift is to understand that you do not have to believe every anxious thought simply because it appeared. Thoughts are visitors. Some are wise and some are not. Some deserve a seat at the table and some do not. But many people have been letting fear sit at the center of their inner life for so long that they forgot they could choose differently. They forgot they could answer back. They forgot they could replace. They forgot they could say, "No, that is not the voice I want to build my life around." These healing thoughts help you remember that choice. They help you become more intentional about what you agree with inside yourself. And there is deep hope in this. If anxiety is helped by repetition, then peace can be helped by repetition too. If fear can become a habit, trust can become a habit too. If panic can train the body, calm can train the body too. If harsh thoughts can become automatic, gentle thoughts can become automatic too. The mind is always learning. The question is, what are you teaching it each day? Are you teaching it that life is danger? Are you teaching it that every unknown is a threat? Are you teaching it that rest is unsafe? Or are you teaching it that this moment can hold peace, that life can still support you, that not everything must be controlled, that good can still reach you? The lesson you repeat becomes the road you walk. So the main idea is not complicated, but it is powerful. Anxiety often grows through repeated fearful thoughts. Healing begins through repeated healing thoughts. The change may seem small at first, but small changes inside the mind can create very big changes in the way life is lived. A new thought changes a feeling. A new feeling changes a response. A new response changes a day. A changed day becomes a changed pattern, and a changed pattern becomes a changed life. That is how deep transformation often begins. Quietly, simply, one thought at a time, not with force, but with faithful repetition. Not by becoming someone else, but by becoming kinder and more truthful with yourself. That is the path we are on now. And these 4 healing thoughts are the steps. The first healing thought is this: I am safe in this moment. These words are simple, but they hold great power. Anxiety often survives by pulling the mind away from what is real and into what is imagined. It tells you to fear what has not happened yet. It tells you to prepare for pain that may never come. It tells you to react now to a future the mind has invented. It speaks as if the danger is here, even when what is really here is only a thought. That is why this first healing thought matters so much. It brings the mind back from fear to truth. It reminds the body that right now, in this exact moment, you can pause, you can breathe, you can return, you can come out of the future and back into the now. And many times in the now, there is more safety than anxiety wants you to see. An anxious mind often does not live in the room it is in. It lives in imagined scenes, future worries, painful possibilities, and unfinished stories. It moves far ahead of the body and leaves the heart behind. That is why people with anxiety can be sitting in a quiet room and still feel like something is wrong. The body is here, but the mind is somewhere else, chasing fear. It may be worrying about a conversation that has not happened, a problem that has not arrived, a loss that has not occurred, or a mistake that has not been made. And as the mind creates these scenes, the body reacts, the heart races, the stomach tightens, the chest feels pressure, the breath becomes short. Then the body's reaction seems to confirm the fearful thought, and the cycle grows stronger. But this first healing thought breaks that pattern by asking one simple thing: come back to this moment and tell the truth about where you are now. Right now is often not what fear says it is. Right now may simply be a chair beneath you, a floor under your feet, air entering and leaving the body, light in the room, sound in the distance, a hand resting quietly, a moment that is not attacking you, a breath that is still arriving. This does not mean life never has real danger. Of course, life has hard moments, but anxiety is often not responding to real danger in the present. It is responding to imagined danger in the future, and there is a big difference between the two. The sentence, "I am safe in this moment," does not claim that nothing hard will ever happen again. It simply returns you to what is true now, and truth now is where peace can begin. There is deep wisdom in learning to speak safety to the body. The body listens to the mind more than many people realize. If the mind keeps saying, "We are in trouble," the body prepares for trouble. If the mind keeps saying something bad is coming, the body tightens for impact. But if the mind begins to say, "We are here, we are breathing, we are safe in this moment," the body starts receiving a different signal. It may not trust it at first. That is all right. The body often needs repetition. It needs consistency. It needs to hear the message more than once. Fear may have been repeated for years, so be patient if peace needs practice. The important thing is that the message has changed. The body can only learn what it hears. Sometimes people resist this thought because they say, "But I do not feel safe," and that is honest. Sometimes fear can be so strong that safety feels far away, but feelings are not always facts. A person can feel unsafe and still be safe in the moment. A person can feel panic and still be sitting in a peaceful room. A person can feel fear rising and still be breathing, still be held by the present, still be okay right now. This is why the thought matters. It is not waiting for the feeling to change first. It is offering the feeling a new direction. It is saying to the scared part of you, "I know you are frightened, but let us look again. Let us see what is actually here. Let us not hand our whole nervous system over to imagined danger. Let us stay with what is true right now." And what is often true right now is that this moment is survivable. This breath is possible. This second can be lived. You do not have to solve the whole week. You do not have to answer every fear. You do not have to handle every possible outcome. You only have to be here now. Anxiety hates that kind of simplicity because anxiety always wants more. More predictions, more planning, more control, more proof. But healing often begins by making life smaller in the gentlest way. Not smaller in possibility, but smaller in pressure. Not, "How will I survive everything?" but "Can I be here with this one breath?" Not, "What if my whole future goes wrong?" but "What is true in this one moment?" Not, "How do I guarantee safety forever?" but "Can I tell the body that right now it may soften a little?" This is a holy kind of simplicity. This is how the heart learns to rest. There is also tenderness inside this thought. "I am safe in this moment" is not only a statement, it is a form of care. It is the kind of sentence a loving presence would speak to a frightened soul. It does not shame, it does not push, it does not argue. It comforts, it settles, it stays near. Many people who live with anxiety have had a very harsh inner voice for a long time. Their mind does not speak to them with kindness. It speaks with pressure. It says, calm down, fix this, stop this, what is wrong with you, get it together. But that voice rarely heals fear. It often makes fear stronger. A frightened heart does not relax when it is attacked. It relaxes when it is met with calm. That is why this first healing thought is so powerful. It brings calm into the conversation. Say the words slowly in your mind. I am safe in this moment. Notice how different they feel from the usual anxious language. They do not rush, they do not warn, they do not accuse, they simply remind. They create a small clearing inside the noise, a place where the body can stop bracing for a second, a place where the mind can stop running for one breath. Sometimes that is enough to begin changing the whole direction of a hard moment. Because many anxious spirals do not start with something huge. They start with one thought that was believed too quickly, one fearful sentence that was never questioned, one imagined future that was treated like reality. This healing thought interrupts that pattern. It says, wait, before we go further into fear, let us ask what is true now. Let us remember where we actually are. The present moment has a healing quality that the anxious mind often forgets. In the present moment, there is no 10-step disaster story. There is only what is here. In the present moment, there is no pressure to solve a future that does not exist yet. There is only this breath, this sensation, this sound, this light, this heartbeat, this chance to return, this chance to choose a different inner message. Of course, the mind may try to leave again. That is what minds do. But every time you bring it back with this healing thought, you are strengthening a new path. You are teaching the mind that fear does not always get the final word. You are teaching the body that the present can be trusted more than panic. And little by little, the body begins to believe you. This healing thought can also become a practice of spiritual trust. To say I am safe in this moment is not always only about outer safety. It can also mean that in this moment you are held by life. In this moment you are not abandoned. In this moment you do not have to carry the whole universe on your shoulders. In this moment, breath is moving through you without your effort. In this moment, the earth is still holding you up. In this moment, there is support you do not have to earn. There is something deeply healing about remembering that you are not the only force keeping yourself alive. Life is happening through you. There is wisdom in your breath. There is rhythm in your heartbeat. There is support in ways you may not always see. Sometimes safety begins not with certainty, but with surrender to the truth that this moment is already holding you. Think of how often anxiety begins with the word, what if? What if this goes wrong? What if I lose control? What if I fail? What if something bad happens? What if I cannot handle it? These questions pull the mind away from peace. They open doors to imagined suffering. But this healing thought answers every fearful what if with a return to what is, not what if, what is here now. A breath is here now. A body is here now. Awareness is here now. A chance to soften is here now. A chance to stop feeding the future with fear is here now. The more often you return to what is, the less power what if begins to have. There may be times when you need to repeat this thought many times. That does not mean it is not working. It means you are retraining something that has been deeply practiced. You may need to place a hand on your heart and say it slowly again and again. You may need to whisper it in the middle of the night. You may need to breathe with it when your thoughts start speeding up. You may need to say it while sitting in silence, while walking, while waiting, while crying, while resting. Let it be available to you. Let it become one of the gentlest tools in your inner life. Not a weapon against fear, but a hand reaching toward peace. And as you keep practicing it, something begins to change. The moment that used to be swallowed by anxiety becomes a little more spacious. The breath that used to disappear begins to deepen. The mind that used to run without pause begins to slow enough for you to notice it. The body that used to tighten instantly begins to remember another possibility. Safety, even if only for a few seconds at first, then a little longer, then again tomorrow. This is how healing grows. It rarely arrives all at once. It comes in returns to breath, returns to truth, returns to kindness, returns to the present, returns to the sentence that says, I am safe in this moment. There is no need to rush this. Safety is not forced into the body. It is invited. The body learns by experience, repetition, and gentleness. Every time you say this thought with sincerity, you are offering your inner world a new experience. You are offering your nervous system a break from danger language. You are offering your heart a small place to rest. You are offering your mind something better to hold. And perhaps most importantly, you are offering yourself the kind of care that fear never could. So when the chest tightens, when the mind speeds up, when the future starts making promises of pain, come back. Not to every answer, not to every solution. Come back to this moment. Come back to this breath. Come back to this truth. The future is not asking for your body right now. The imagined disaster is not in the room right now. The mind may be racing, but the present is still here, steady and waiting. Let this first healing thought become a doorway you walk through again and again. I am safe in this moment, not because you know everything, not because you control everything, but because right now, in this breath, in this living second, peace can begin. Place your hand gently over your heart for a moment and do nothing else. Do not try to solve your whole life. Do not try to force your mind to become silent all at once. Do not ask yourself to become fearless in a single breath. Just place your hand there and notice that you are here. Notice the warmth of your palm. Notice the rise and fall of your chest. Notice that life is still moving through you quietly, faithfully, one breath at a time. This small action may seem simple, but it carries great power. When anxiety begins to rise, the mind often leaves the body. It runs ahead into worry, into pressure, into what might happen next. But this gentle touch over the heart is a way of coming back. It is a way of saying, I am here with myself now. I am not leaving myself alone in this moment. I am returning with kindness. Take one slow breath in, not a forced breath, not a perfect breath, just a gentle one. Let it come in through the nose if that feels natural. Hold nothing tightly, then let it go slowly. As you breathe out, imagine that some of the pressure inside you is beginning to loosen, not all at once, not in some dramatic way, but a little, enough to create space, enough to remind the body that it does not have to stay in alarm every second. The anxious mind often acts as if peace must be earned after every problem is solved, but peace can begin before that. Peace can begin in the middle of unanswered questions. Peace can begin with one breath that tells the body, you do not need to fight right now. Now imagine a soft, calm light around you. It does not have to be bright. It does not have to be complicated. Just a gentle light, warm and steady, like the kind of light that makes a room feel safe at the end of a long day. See this light surrounding your body in the most peaceful way. It is around your shoulders. It is around your chest. It is around your thoughts. It is not there to trap you. It is there to hold you. It is there to remind you that you are not standing in this moment without support. You are not floating in empty fear. You are being held by something softer than panic and wiser than the anxious mind. This light is calm. This light does not rush. This light does not speak in fear. It only stays. It only surrounds. It only reminds. As you imagine this light, say gently inside yourself, I am safe in this moment. Say it slowly enough that your body can hear it, not just your ears, not just your thoughts, but your whole body. Let the words move through your chest like warmth. Let them settle into your breath. Let them rest in your shoulders. Let them soften your jaw. Let them reach the part of you that has been standing guard for too long. I am safe in this moment. These words are not trying to fight your fear. They are giving your fear a new place to rest. They are speaking to the part of you that has forgotten what calm feels like. They are telling that part gently, lovingly, you can begin to loosen now. Anxiety often makes the body feel like it must always be prepared for loss, prepared for failure, prepared for something going wrong. It keeps the muscles tight, the breath shallow, the thoughts alert. Over time, this can become so normal that people forget what ease even feels like. They forget what it feels like to sit in a moment without bracing against it. They forget what it feels like to breathe without expecting bad news. That is why this simple visualization matters. It gives the body another experience. It shows the nervous system that there is another way to be in a moment. A moment can be soft. A breath can be enough. Safety can be invited. Calm can be practiced. The heart can be reassured. Imagine now that this gentle light is not only around you, but also moving through you. It fills the space behind your eyes, where so many worried thoughts have been gathering. It fills your throat where unspoken fear has been living. It fills your chest where pressure has been sitting. It fills your stomach where tension often collects. It moves down through your arms, your hands, your back, your legs, your feet. Everywhere it goes, it brings one message. You do not have to stay so tense. You do not have to carry everything like this. You do not have to expect danger every minute. You are allowed to soften here. Sometimes the mind will resist this kind of gentleness. It may say, "This is too simple." It may say, "This will not help." It may say you should be doing something more serious, more logical, more forceful. But healing is often much simpler than fear wants it to be. Fear likes to make things complicated because complexity keeps the mind busy and trapped. Healing often begins with basic truths repeated with love, a hand over the heart, a soft breath, a simple light, a calm sentence. These are not small things. When the body has been living in stress, these are sacred interruptions. These are ways of telling the system we are choosing another direction now. Say again, "I am safe in this moment." Notice whether the words land differently the second time. Maybe only a little. Maybe the body softens by one small degree. Maybe the breath gets deeper without effort. Maybe the thoughts lose a little of their speed. Do not demand a huge change. Do not test yourself harshly. Just notice. Healing often moves quietly. It enters through tiny openings. One breath, one thought, one softened muscle, one moment of less fear. These are not meaningless. These are signs that the body is listening. These are signs that peace is not gone. It is only being remembered. You may begin to see that the present moment is very different from the world anxiety describes. Anxiety describes a world where everything is urgent, dangerous, and unstable. But in this visualization, the present moment becomes a place of return, a place of breath, a place of light, a place where you do not need to know the whole future in order to be okay right now. This is one of the most healing truths a person can learn. You do not need certainty about everything in order to find calm in one moment. You do not need complete control in order to feel one breath of peace. You only need willingness to return. Imagine the light growing just a little brighter around your heart, not in a sharp way, but in a warm, loving way. The kind of warmth that tells you it is safe to stay with yourself. Many people abandon themselves the moment anxiety rises. They become angry with themselves. They judge themselves. They get frustrated that they are feeling what they are feeling. But what if this moment became different? What if instead of leaving yourself, you stayed? What if instead of becoming hard, you became gentle? What if instead of adding more pressure, you offered comfort? This visualization is teaching exactly that. Stay with yourself. Stay near. Stay kind. The anxious moment does not need punishment. It needs presence. As you stay here, perhaps you can begin to picture this light like a quiet shelter, not a place you run to because life is too much, but a place within you that reminds you that peace still exists. You can return to it at any time. In the middle of a hard afternoon, in the middle of the night, before an important conversation, while waiting for news, during any moment when the mind begins to build fear too quickly, this light is not something far away. It is a picture of your own inner calm. It is a way of giving shape to the peace that already lives inside you, even if fear has covered it for a while. Now breathe again, gently. Feel your hand on your heart. Feel the body under your hand. Feel that you are here. Feel that you are alive in this moment. Feel that the moment is not asking you to be perfect. It is only asking you to be present and say once more with softness and sincerity, I am safe in this moment. Let the words become like a quiet song inside you. Let them replace the loudest fear for 1 minute. Let them become the voice that leads instead of the voice that only warns. Let them be the beginning of a new response inside your life. This kind of practice may look simple from the outside, but inside it changes everything. It teaches your heart that peace is not a stranger. It teaches your body that calm is still possible. It teaches your mind that not every thought must be followed into fear. And it teaches your spirit that there is something deeper than anxiety moving through you. Something steady, something kind, something that does not rush or panic. The more often you return to this visualization, the more familiar peace becomes. And when peace becomes familiar, anxiety loses some of the power it once had. You can carry this image with you, a hand over the heart, a soft breath, a warm light, a gentle sentence. I am safe in this moment. These can become your quiet companions. They can meet you in ordinary moments and difficult ones. They can remind you that healing does not always arrive through big events. Sometimes it arrives through a simple practice done with love. Sometimes it arrives because you chose not to believe fear immediately. Sometimes it arrives because you paused long enough to let the truth in. And the truth is this: in this moment, you can return to yourself. In this moment, you can soften. In this moment, you can begin again. The second healing thought is this: life is working for me, not against me. Anxiety often grows in a mind that feels surrounded by threat. It sees delay as punishment. It sees change as danger. It sees closed doors as failure. It sees uncertainty as proof that something is wrong. In that kind of thinking, life starts to feel like an enemy. Every problem feels personal. Every challenge feels like rejection. Every setback feels like proof that the world is unsafe and unfair. And when a person begins to see life this way, the heart tightens. Trust becomes difficult. Peace becomes difficult. Hope becomes difficult. That is why this healing thought matters so deeply. It changes the relationship between you and life itself. Many anxious thoughts are built on the belief that the world is always about to hurt you. This belief may not always be spoken out loud, but it often lives underneath the surface. It sounds like nothing ever works out for me. It sounds like things always go wrong. It sounds like I must stay alert because life cannot be trusted. It sounds like if I relax, something bad will happen. These beliefs create tension, not only in the mind, but in the whole body. When life feels like an enemy, the nervous system never fully rests. It stays prepared for battle. It stays prepared for disappointment. It stays prepared for some form of pain. But a person cannot fully heal while living in constant war with life. To say life is working for me, not against me, is to begin changing that inner battle. It is not saying that everything feels easy. It is not saying that pain never exists. It is not saying that every event will make sense right away. It is saying something deeper. It is saying that even when life is unclear, it may still be guiding. Even when something ends, it may still be making space. Even when you do not understand what is happening, it does not mean life has turned against you. There is a big difference between not understanding a moment and being harmed by the whole universe. Anxiety often confuses the two. Healing gently separates them. There are many things in life that do not make sense at first. A delay you did not want, a plan that falls apart, a door that closes, a season of waiting, a sudden change, an answer that does not come when you hoped. In anxious thinking, these moments quickly become evidence that everything is failing. But life is often doing more than the mind can see. Sometimes what feels like a setback is protection. Sometimes what feels like silence is preparation. Sometimes what feels like loss is the clearing away of what could not go with you into the next part of your life. This does not make hard moments instantly easy, but it gives them a different meaning, and meaning matters. When pain means punishment, fear grows. When pain can also mean movement, growth, guidance, or redirection, the heart becomes less afraid. Think about how often the anxious mind asks, "Why is this happening to me?" It asks from a place of fear. It asks from a place of hurt. It asks from a place that assumes life must be against it. But what if the better question is, what is life trying to show me here? That question is softer. It is more open. It does not deny difficulty, but it makes room for wisdom. It suggests that something deeper may be unfolding, even if you cannot fully see it yet. Anxiety wants instant answers. Trust allows space for process. Anxiety says, "Explain this now, or I will panic." Healing says, "I may not understand everything right now, but I am willing to believe that life is not only made of punishment." There is a kind of peace that comes when you stop reading every hard moment as proof that you are unsupported. That peace does not come from always getting what you want. It comes from feeling that even when life changes shape, it has not abandoned you. It comes from believing that there is order beyond confusion. It comes from sensing that there may be help in places the mind cannot yet measure. This kind of trust does not make a person weak. It makes a person steadier. Because when the heart is no longer fighting life itself, it has more energy for living. It has more space for listening. It has more room for grace. A mind filled with anxiety often looks at the past and finds only proof of pain. It remembers what went wrong. It remembers what was lost. It remembers the times life did not go as planned, and because of that, it begins expecting the future to repeat the same pattern. But if you look more closely, there may also be moments when life quietly helped you. Times when something that ended made room for something better. Times when a delay protected you. Times when what looked like failure led you somewhere more true. Times when you thought you were falling apart, but later realized you were being moved. These moments matter because they show that life is not always working against you. Sometimes it is working in ways the fearful mind cannot yet understand. When you repeat the thought, "Life is working for me, not against me," you begin to train the heart toward trust instead of suspicion. You begin to loosen the belief that every unknown thing is a threat. You begin to soften the idea that the world is only a place to defend yourself from. And once that softening begins, anxiety loses one of its strongest roots, because anxiety depends a great deal on the belief that life cannot be trusted. It depends on the idea that you must stay tense or you will be hurt. But if life can be trusted, even a little more than before, then the body begins to relax, the mind begins to open, the soul begins to breathe. This thought also invites spiritual openness. It reminds you that there may be wisdom moving through events you do not yet understand. It reminds you that timing can have intelligence. It reminds you that the path of your life may be held by something larger than your immediate fear. This does not mean becoming passive. It does not mean doing nothing. It means walking through life with a different inner posture, not a posture of panic, but one of listening, not a posture of war, but one of trust, not a posture of constant fear, but one of willingness to believe that life may still be carrying you, even in the middle of uncertainty. Imagine the difference between waking up with the thought, "Something will probably go wrong today," and waking up with the thought, "Life is working for me, not against me." The first thought closes the body before the day has even begun. The second thought opens a window. The first thought makes you search for danger. The second thought allows you to notice support. The first thought prepares you for battle. The second thought prepares you for participation. Thoughts shape the way you meet a day. They shape what you notice. They shape what you expect. And expectation has energy. If you expect only trouble, you often meet life with tension. If you expect that life may still be supporting you, you move differently, you listen differently, you breathe differently, you respond differently. This does not mean pretending that every painful event is easy or instantly good. Some moments are painful. Some losses are real. Some seasons are very hard. But even then, life may still not be against you. A storm can be real without being a punishment. A hard lesson can be painful without being cruel. A season of waiting can be uncomfortable without meaning you have been forgotten. Healing lies in learning to hold both truth and trust at the same time. Yes, this is hard. and life may still be working for me. Yes, I do not understand this fully, and I do not have to call life my enemy. Yes, I feel shaken, and I am willing to believe that I am still being guided. Sometimes the most healing thing a person can do is stop arguing with life and start listening for what it is trying to teach. That one shift changes so much. Instead of saying, "Why is everything against me?" the heart begins to ask, "Where is the support here?" Instead of saying, "This delay means I am losing," the heart begins to ask, "What if there is timing I do not yet see?" Instead of saying, "This closed door proves I am not meant for anything good," the heart begins to say, "Maybe this door was never the final answer." These shifts may sound small, but they change the emotional meaning of your whole journey. And when the meaning changes, the fear changes too. Say quietly to yourself now, "Life is working for me, not against me." Let the words settle where distrust has been living. Let them touch the places inside you that are tired of fighting everything. Let them reach the part of you that has become suspicious of every change, every pause, every unknown. Let them say, "Maybe you do not need to read every uncertainty as danger. Maybe some things are unfolding in your favor in ways you cannot yet see. Maybe not every silence is empty. Maybe not every ending is loss. Maybe not every delay is denial. Maybe life still knows how to guide you." As you repeat this healing thought, you may begin to feel less personally attacked by every challenge. This is a beautiful kind of freedom. You stop taking every hard moment as proof that you are cursed, blocked, or forgotten. You begin to see that life moves in seasons. Some seasons are active, some are quiet, some are clear, some are confusing. But all of them can carry meaning, all of them can carry growth, all of them can carry support in some form. The anxious mind only sees what it fears. The healing heart becomes willing to see more. And once that willingness appears, something remarkable begins to happen. You start noticing help where you once noticed only pressure. You start noticing timing where you once noticed only delay. You start noticing redirection where you once noticed only disappointment. You start noticing blessings in smaller forms. A conversation that came at the right time, a delay that saved you from something, a change that led to a better path. A calm feeling in the middle of uncertainty. These quiet experiences rebuild trust, and trust is one of the greatest medicines for anxiety. So carry this second thought gently but often. Let it meet you when plans change. Let it meet you when things are unclear. Let it meet you when the old story begins saying that life is unfair and against you. Answer with something wiser. Answer with something softer. Answer with something that gives your heart room to breathe again. Life is working for me, not against me. Even if I do not understand everything yet, even if I cannot see the full picture, even if I am still learning how to trust, life is not only made of threat, Life can also be made of guidance, and the more you believe that, the less alone your heart begins to feel. The third healing thought is this: I release the need to control everything. Anxiety often lives side by side with control. The anxious mind believes that if it can think enough, plan enough, predict enough, and manage enough, then it can stay safe. It believes that tension is protection. It believes that constant mental effort will somehow prevent pain. It believes that if it lets go even a little, things will fall apart. Because of this, many people live with a tight inner grip. They grip outcomes, they grip timing, they grip other people's choices, they grip the future, they grip the way things should happen, and in all that gripping, the heart becomes tired, the body becomes tense, and peace becomes hard to find. Control can look responsible from the outside, but inside it often feels exhausting. It feels like carrying too much. It feels like never fully resting. It feels like the mind is always on duty. It feels like there is always one more thing to figure out before you are allowed to breathe. The body under control is rarely soft. The shoulders stay tight. The jaw stays tense. The stomach stays uneasy. The thoughts stay busy. There is always a feeling that something must be handled right now. And even when nothing urgent is happening, the body still behaves as if an emergency could arrive any second. This is not peace. This is pressure disguised as protection. The need to control everything usually begins from fear, not from wisdom. It begins from the belief that without total management, life cannot be trusted. It begins from hurt. It begins from disappointment. It begins from moments in the past when things felt uncertain, painful, or unsafe. The mind decides that from now on it will not be caught off guard. So it watches closely. It predicts constantly. It tries to stay ahead of life. But the problem is this: life cannot be fully controlled. Other people cannot be controlled. Timing cannot be controlled. Every outcome cannot be guaranteed. And when the mind keeps trying to control what cannot truly be controlled, anxiety grows stronger. This healing thought does not ask you to become careless. It does not ask you to stop showing up for your life. It does not ask you to avoid responsibility. It asks something much wiser. It asks you to tell the truth about what is actually yours to hold and what is not. There is a difference between participation and control. You can take wise action without trying to control every result. You can prepare without trying to predict every future. You can care deeply without gripping tightly. You can do your part and still release what was never yours to carry. This is the kind of freedom the anxious mind needs, not abandonment of life, but a softer relationship with it. Think of how often anxiety says, "What if I miss something? What if I make the wrong choice? What if I do not keep everything together? What if I do not stay ahead of every possible problem?" These questions create pressure because they place the whole weight of life on your shoulders. They tell you that you must become all-knowing. They tell you that if something goes wrong, it means you failed to control enough. But this is not a fair burden for any heart to carry. You were never meant to control every detail of life. You were never meant to know everything before it happens. You were never meant to hold the entire future in your mind at once. The need to control everything is simply too heavy. No wonder it creates anxiety. There is deep peace in admitting that some things belong to life, not to you. Some things belong to timing. Some things belong to growth. Some things belong to the choices of others. Some things belong to a larger wisdom you cannot fully see. This truth can feel uncomfortable at first because the anxious mind wants certainty. It wants guarantees. It wants proof. But certainty is not always available, and trying to demand it only creates more suffering. Healing begins when you loosen your grip and say, I will do what is mine to do, and I will stop trying to carry what is not mine. That sentence alone can open so much space inside the heart. Imagine trying to hold water in a closed fist. The tighter the grip, the less it stays. But when you open your hand, the relationship changes. You stop fighting the nature of water. In the same way, many people are trying to hold life in a clenched fist. They are gripping every relationship, every plan, every outcome, every timeline. And then they wonder why they feel so tired. Life is not something you can force into obedience. Life is something you move with. You listen, you respond, you participate, you allow. Control fights the flow. Trust works with it. This healing thought begins teaching the soul how to open its hand. Say quietly now, I release the need to control everything. Notice how different those words feel from the language of anxiety. Anxiety says, hold tighter. Anxiety says, think harder. Anxiety says, do not let go. But these healing words say, enough. They say you are allowed to stop carrying so much. They say you are allowed to trust that not everything depends on fear. They say you are allowed to rest from the impossible job of managing the whole universe. These words are not weakness. They are relief. They are honesty. They are wisdom. For many people, control has become so normal that letting go feels dangerous. They may think, if I stop worrying, I will become careless. If I stop controlling, everything will collapse. If I stop forcing, nothing good will happen. But often the opposite is true. When you stop forcing, you think more clearly. When you stop panicking, you choose more wisely. When you stop gripping, your body has more energy. When you release the pressure to control everything, you become more present, not less. You stop wasting so much life on mental struggle and begin using your energy for what actually matters. There is also a spiritual opening in this thought. To release the need to control everything is to admit that you are not alone in carrying life. It is to admit that there is movement beyond your effort. It is to admit that grace can exist even when your plans do not. It is to admit that life may know things you cannot yet see. This kind of surrender is not passive. It is deeply active in a different way. It actively chooses trust over panic. It actively chooses openness over force. It actively chooses partnership with life instead of battle against it. This is where miracles often begin. not when a person controls more, but when a person finally relaxes enough to receive. Think about how many hours anxiety steals by keeping the mind busy with things it cannot solve, what other people think, how every future moment will unfold, whether every choice will work out perfectly, whether nothing painful will ever happen again. The mind can spend years trying to answer questions that cannot be answered in advance, and in doing so, it misses the only place where peace can truly be practiced. The present, releasing control, brings you back here, back to what you can do now, back to what can be held now, back to what can be lived now, not the whole future, just this step, just this breath, just this day. Sometimes releasing control looks like stopping yourself from replaying the same fear over and over. Sometimes it looks like ending the habit of checking mentally for danger every few minutes. Sometimes it looks like letting someone else choose for themselves without trying to manage their whole journey. Sometimes it looks like accepting that you have done enough for today. Sometimes it looks like saying, I do not know how this will turn out, and I do not need to know right now in order to rest. These moments are powerful because they break the old agreement with anxiety. They tell fear, you do not get to run everything here anymore. This thought can become especially healing during times of uncertainty. When life is unclear, the urge to control often grows stronger. The mind says, if only I can figure out every answer right now, then I can calm down. But clarity rarely comes from panic. It rarely comes from pressure. It more often comes from softness, from patience, from presence, from allowing the next step to reveal itself. You do not always need the full map. You only need the courage for the next honest step. Control wants the whole road. Trust is willing to walk one piece at a time. Let these words become a release inside you. I release the need to control everything. Let them move through your shoulders where so much pressure has been sitting. Let them move through your chest where the need to manage everything has been living. Let them move through your thoughts where so many imagined futures have been trying to trap you. Let them untie the knot that says it all depends on me. I must hold it all. I cannot let go. You can let go, not of care, but of burden, not of love, but of fear, not of wise action, but of endless pressure. And as you begin practicing this thought, something beautiful happens. Your breath deepens, your mind slows, your body begins to trust rest again. You stop chasing certainty and start allowing peace. You stop trying to push life into your shape and begin to notice the shape it is already taking. You become less afraid of what you cannot control because you are no longer demanding that control be your source of safety. You begin to find safety somewhere deeper, in presence, in trust, in surrender, in knowing that you can meet life as it comes without needing to control every part of it before it arrives. This is not a one-time lesson. It is a daily practice. The mind may try to grab again. That is all right. Simply notice it and return to the breath, return to the truth, return to the softer way. Again and again, gently say, I release the need to control everything. Let this be the thought that loosens the grip. Let this be the sentence that tells your nervous system it can stop working so hard. Let this be the beginning of a freer way to live, because the more you release control, the more room there is for peace. And where peace enters, miracles are no longer blocked by fear. The fourth healing thought is this: I am open to miracles and good things after anxiety begins to soften, after the heart starts feeling a little safer, after the grip of control loosens. Something very important must happen next. The heart must open again, because anxiety does not only create fear, it also creates closure. It closes the mind, it closes the body, it closes the spirit. It makes a person expect trouble more easily than blessing. It makes a person prepare for loss more quickly than joy. It makes a person so focused on protection that they forget how to receive. That is why this healing thought matters so much. It does not only calm fear, it opens the inner door again. Many people who live with anxiety are not only afraid of bad things, deep down, they can also become afraid of good things, not because they do not want them, but because they no longer trust them. They fear disappointment. They fear loss. They fear that if they allow hope, they may get hurt again. So they stay guarded. They expect less. They close themselves before life can surprise them. This is understandable when someone has been carrying fear for a long time. But a closed heart cannot fully enjoy peace. It cannot fully welcome healing. It cannot fully receive what life is trying to bring. This is why the journey does not end with calming anxiety. It must continue into openness. To say I am open to miracles and good things is to gently tell life, I am ready to receive again. It is not a loud demand. It is not a desperate plea. It is not a way of forcing blessings to come. It is a soft opening. It is a signal from the heart that says, I am no longer choosing fear as my only expectation. I am willing to let good enter. I am willing to notice support. I am willing to believe that healing, love, peace, guidance, and unexpected grace still have a place in my life. This is a powerful shift because anxiety teaches the mind to search for danger. Openness teaches the mind to notice goodness. A miracle does not always mean something dramatic. Many people hear that word and think only of very big events, very sudden changes, or something almost impossible. But miracles can also be quiet. A miracle can be a peaceful breath where panic used to live. A miracle can be waking up with less dread than yesterday. A miracle can be feeling supported in a moment that used to crush you. A miracle can be one kind thought arriving in the middle of a storm of fear. A miracle can be a change in the way you see yourself. A miracle can be a strange calm in a place where there used to be only struggle. When you become open to miracles, you begin noticing how often life is already trying to help you. The same is true for good things. Good things do not always arrive with noise. Sometimes they come quietly. A kind word from someone at the right time. A delayed answer that turns out to protect you. A moment of beauty in the middle of an ordinary day. a sudden feeling that you are not alone, a new thought that changes everything, a path opening where there used to be none. Good things are not always huge, but they are still real. Anxiety often makes people blind to them because fear fills the mind so completely. But when you say, I am open to miracles and good things, you begin training yourself to see that life is not made only of threats, it is also made of gifts. This thought matters because the mind tends to confirm what it expects. If you expect only trouble, your attention will keep searching for trouble. If you expect disappointment, your body will stay tense even in gentle moments. If you expect pain, you may miss the support that is right in front of you. But if you begin expecting that good may still find you, your energy changes, your breathing changes, your eyes change, your heart becomes more available to life. You do not become foolish, you do not become blind. You simply stop giving fear all the power of expectation. You make room for another possibility. You make room for grace. Say quietly now, I am open to miracles and good things. Let these words move into the places inside you that have been shut for too long. Let them reach the part of you that has become used to disappointment. Let them reach the part of you that stopped hoping because hoping felt too risky. Let them reach the part of you that has been standing at the door of life with folded arms, afraid to let anything in. These words are not forcing you to pretend. They are simply inviting you to soften. They are reminding you that your heart does not have to stay closed forever. There is also something beautiful in the word open. Open does not mean that you chase. Open does not mean that you beg. Open does not mean that you force life to move faster. Open means available. Open means willing. Open means ready to receive without gripping. A flower opens to sunlight. It does not chase the sun across the sky. It simply becomes available to what is already there. In the same way, your spirit can open to good without struggling for it. Your heart can become available to peace, love, healing, and joy without living in pressure. This is where so much freedom begins, not in pushing harder, but in opening more deeply. Anxiety often creates the belief that receiving is dangerous. It can make a person feel safer when they expect the worst. It can make them feel more prepared if they do not get their hopes up. But this way of living is heavy. It steals joy before joy even arrives. It blocks comfort before comfort can be felt. It closes the hand before life can place anything there. To open again is an act of courage. It is the courage to say, I will not let fear decide the whole shape of my life. I will not close every window because a storm once came through. I will allow fresh air again. I will let light enter again. I will be available to something kinder. This thought also changes the emotional direction of your days. Instead of asking only, what could go wrong? You begin asking, what good might be trying to reach me? Instead of preparing only for loss, you begin making space for blessing. Instead of expecting every unknown thing to become a problem, you begin allowing that some unknown things may become gifts. This does not remove wisdom. It deepens it. It teaches the heart to live with trust instead of constant defense. It teaches the soul that life can still surprise you in beautiful ways, and that kind of openness becomes deeply healing. There is spiritual medicine in expecting good without gripping for it. It is one thing to desperately demand that life prove itself. It is another thing to quietly believe that life still holds goodness for you. That quiet belief creates a very different energy. It is not desperate, it is not frantic, it is not fearful, it is gentle but strong. It says, I do not need to force the miracle. I only need to remain open enough to notice it. I do not need to control every blessing. I only need to welcome what comes with gratitude. This kind of openness allows the heart to live in faith instead of tension. Imagine how differently you move through a day when you hold this thought. A small delay no longer has to ruin your peace. A change of plan no longer has to mean disaster. A quiet moment no longer has to be filled with fear. You begin to sense that something good may still be moving, even when you cannot yet see it. This makes the nervous system softer. It makes the breath deeper. It makes the heart more willing to stay present. Because when you are open to miracles and good things, you no longer feel that you must defend yourself from life at every second. You begin to feel that life may still be able to meet you with kindness. Repeat again, I am open to miracles and good things. Let it become an inner welcome. Let it become a new expectation. Let it become a sentence that replaces some of the old fear, even if only a little at first, even if you are still learning how to believe it, even if part of you still feels cautious. Keep saying it. Keep opening. Healing is often the slow rebuilding of trust. It is the slow return of hope. It is the slow willingness to believe that not everything ahead must look like everything behind. That is what this thought offers. A new opening, a new possibility, a new relationship with life. And as you practice this thought, you may begin noticing that your inner world feels lighter. Not because everything outside changed at once, but because something inside stopped blocking the good. The anxious mind is often like a tightly shut room. Air cannot move, light cannot enter freely. Everything feels close and heavy, but openness is like opening a window. The room begins to change. Fresh air enters. Light shifts the atmosphere. The space becomes more livable. That is what this fourth healing thought does. It opens the inner window. It lets grace circulate again. It reminds the heart that life is not only about surviving, it is also about receiving. So let this fourth thought live close to you. Let it meet you in the morning. Let it meet you in moments of fear. Let it meet you when the mind starts closing down again. Answer fear with openness. Answer heaviness with willingness. Answer old disappointment with a new invitation. I am open to miracles and good things. And the more often you say it, the more your life begins to feel less like a locked door and more like a threshold where something beautiful may enter at any time. Now bring these four healing thoughts together and feel the way they move like steps on one quiet path. The first thought says, I am safe in this moment. It brings you back from the future into the present. It helps the body loosen its fear. It reminds you that not every feeling of danger is true danger. It creates the first opening. The second thought says, life is working for me, not against me. It changes your relationship with life itself. It softens the feeling that the world is your enemy. It rebuilds trust. The third thought says, I release the need to control everything. It loosens the grip. It removes pressure. It allows your heart to stop carrying more than it was ever meant to carry. And the fourth thought says, I am open to miracles and good things. It opens the door again. It makes room for grace, for beauty, for help, for healing, for blessings that fear may have made hard to see. These thoughts are powerful on their own, but together they create a full movement from anxiety to peace. First, you calm the fear. Then you rebuild trust. Then you let go of pressure. Then you open to receiving. This is why they work so deeply together. Anxiety often traps a person in the opposite direction. It starts with feeling unsafe. Then life feels hostile. Then the mind tries to control everything. Then the heart closes. These four healing thoughts gently reverse that pattern. They are like light entering one room after another inside the soul. Take a moment now and hear them one by one. I am safe in this moment. Life is working for me, not against me. I release the need to control everything. I am open to miracles and good things. Feel what happens just by hearing them together. Notice how they create a rhythm of peace. They do not rush. They do not demand. They do not speak in fear. They move with a different energy. They calm. They reassure. They soften. They guide. They are not only thoughts. They are healing directions for the heart. The first thought settles the body. The second settles your relationship with life. The third settles the pressure inside your mind. The fourth settles your spirit into openness again. That is why they can be so helpful for anxiety. Anxiety is not only mental, it touches the body, the emotions, the spirit, and the way you relate to life itself. These thoughts speak to all of those places. They do not only say, calm down, they say something much wiser. They say, come back to safety, come back to trust, come back to release, come back to openness. That is a full healing movement. When repeated daily, these thoughts begin to shape the way you live inside yourself. They begin to replace old sentences that fear has been using for years. Instead of saying something bad is coming, you say, I am safe in this moment. Instead of saying life is unfair and against me, you say life is working for me, not against me. Instead of saying, I must manage everything or it will all fall apart, you say, I release the need to control everything. Instead of saying, I should expect disappointment, you say, I am open to miracles and good things. This is how the inner atmosphere begins to change. Thought by thought, day by day. There is great power in repetition. Fear has become strong in many people because it has been repeated so often. The same fearful ideas have been practiced again and again until they became automatic. But peace can also become more natural through repetition. Trust can become more familiar through repetition. Release can become easier through repetition. Openness can become stronger through repetition. These thoughts are not meant to be said once and then forgotten. They are meant to become part of your inner language. They are meant to become sentences your heart can recognize when it needs them most. You may begin to notice that each thought has a different medicine. If panic rises, the first thought helps you return to the moment. If you feel discouraged by life, the second thought reminds you that the path may still be supporting you. If pressure is building and your mind wants to hold everything, the third thought loosens that burden. If your heart feels closed, tired, or afraid to hope, the fourth thought opens the window again. They work together, but they can also meet you one at a time wherever you are. That is one of their quiet strengths. They are simple enough to remember and strong enough to carry you through many kinds of moments. Say them again in a slow, peaceful rhythm. I am safe in this moment. Life is working for me, not against me. I release the need to control everything. I am open to miracles and good things. Let these words move through you like a prayer. Let them settle into your breath. Let them touch the places that have been most tired. Let them calm the places that have been most afraid. Let them become more than ideas. Let them become a way of returning to yourself. As these thoughts settle in, you may feel that they create a very different kind of life from the one anxiety creates. Anxiety creates struggle. These thoughts create softness. Anxiety creates pressure. These thoughts create space. Anxiety creates fear of life. These thoughts create trust in life. Anxiety creates tightness. These thoughts create openness. The difference is not small. It changes the whole way a person moves through a day. It changes the way you wake up. It changes the way you respond to challenges. It changes the way you relate to uncertainty. It changes the way you treat yourself when fear appears. One of the most beautiful things about these four thoughts is that they do not ask you to become perfect. They do not ask you to never feel afraid again. They do not ask you to have all the answers. They simply ask you to return to safety, return to trust, return to release, return to openness. This is something any heart can practice. This is something you can do even in the middle of a hard season. You do not need a perfect life to begin healing. You only need a willingness to speak to yourself differently. These thoughts also create a path from fear into faith. Not faith that every detail will unfold exactly as you want, but faith that you can meet life with more peace than before. Faith that this moment can hold you. Faith that life is not only made of threat. Faith that you do not have to carry everything. Faith that good can still reach you. This kind of faith is deeply healing because it gives the nervous system a new message. It says, you do not have to stay in battle mode all the time. It says, there is another way to live. And when you live with these thoughts, even small changes begin to matter. A calmer breath matters. A softer response matters. A little less tension matters. A little more trust matters. A little more openness matters. These are not tiny things. They are signs that your inner life is changing. They are signs that the old fear does not own every room in your mind anymore. They are signs that healing is already happening, even if it is quiet at first. So keep these 4 thoughts close. Let them be simple. Let them be steady. Let them be repeated often. I am safe in this moment. Life is working for me, not against me. I release the need to control everything. I am open to miracles and good things. These are not only healing thoughts. They are a new way of walking through life. They are a new way of speaking to the body, the mind, the heart, and the soul. And little by little, they can turn anxiety into a doorway, not into peace all at once, but into the daily practice of peace. Now let this become something simple you can actually live with each day. Healing does not need to be complicated. It does not need to take a long time. It does not need to be perfect. In fact, one of the kindest things you can do for yourself is to stop making healing feel like another difficult task. The heart learns best through gentle repetition. The body learns best through simple signals of safety. The mind learns best when truth is repeated in a calm way. So let this daily practice be easy enough to return to again and again. Begin with one small pause. This can be in the morning before the day starts pulling at you. It can be before sleep when the mind wants to replay everything. It can be in the middle of a hard afternoon when tension begins to rise. It can be during any moment when anxiety starts speaking loudly. Just pause, even if only for 1 minute, even if only for a few breaths. A pause is powerful because it interrupts the old rush. It tells the mind that you are not going to run with fear automatically. It creates a space where healing can enter. Then place your hand gently over your heart. This simple touch matters more than many people realize. It helps bring your attention back to the body. It reminds you that you are here. It gives comfort to the nervous system. It tells the anxious part of you that you are not ignoring it, not attacking it, not abandoning it. You are meeting it with presence. You are staying with yourself. For many people, this alone begins to soften the moment. The heart responds to gentleness. The body responds to care. Take a slow breath in and a slow breath out. Do not force it. Do not try to breathe perfectly. Just allow one softer breath than the one before. Let the breath become a bridge back to now. Anxiety often rushes ahead into the future, but breath always happens here. Breath is one of the simplest ways to remind the body that the present moment is still available. As you breathe, let your shoulders drop if they can. Let your jaw soften if it can. Let your chest loosen even a little. You are not trying to fix everything. You are only creating a moment of return. Now slowly repeat the 4 healing thoughts. Say them in a calm voice or whisper them softly, or speak them only in your mind if that feels best. I am safe in this moment. Life is working for me, not against me. I release the need to control everything. I am open to miracles and good things. Say them slowly enough that you can feel them. Do not rush to get through them. Let each one touch the part of you it was meant to heal. Let the first thought calm your body. Let the second thought rebuild trust. Let the third thought loosen pressure. Let the fourth thought open your heart again. If one of the thoughts speaks to you more strongly on a certain day, stay with it a little longer. Some days you may need the first thought most because fear feels strong. Some days you may need the second because life feels hard to trust. Some days you may need the third because you are carrying too much pressure. Some days you may need the fourth because your heart feels tired and closed. That is all right. Let the practice meet you where you are. It does not have to be exactly the same every day. What matters is that you return to it. What matters is that you keep offering your inner world these healing words. This practice can be especially helpful in the morning. The first thoughts of the day have so much influence. Many people wake up and immediately begin worrying. They pick up fear before they even fully enter the day. But imagine beginning differently. Imagine waking up, placing your hand on your heart, taking one slow breath and saying, I am safe in this moment. Life is working for me, not against me. I release the need to control everything. I am open to miracles and good things. Notice how different that beginning feels. Instead of handing the day to fear, you begin by giving it to peace. This practice can also help at night. Nighttime often brings quiet, and in that quiet, anxious thoughts can grow louder. The mind starts reviewing, predicting, questioning, and replaying. But this is a beautiful time to return to the four thoughts. Instead of falling asleep in fear, you can let the heart hear something gentler. You can let the body settle with new words. You can let the last inner message of the day be one of safety, trust, release, and openness. Over time, this changes the emotional tone of your life. It teaches the mind that it does not have to end every day in struggle. You can even use this practice in the middle of everyday life, while sitting in your car, while standing in line, while waiting for a message, while taking a walk, while feeling the first signs of overwhelm. You do not need special conditions. The beauty of these healing thoughts is that they can travel with you. They can meet you in ordinary moments and difficult ones. They can become quiet companions in the places where anxiety used to grow unchecked, and the more often you return to them, the more familiar peace begins to feel. Try not to turn this practice into another thing you judge yourself about. If you miss a day, simply begin again. If your mind wanders, gently return. If you do not fully believe the words yet, say them anyway with willingness. Healing does not ask for perfection. It asks for presence. It asks for repetition. It asks for kindness. The anxious mind often wants to do everything perfectly or not at all, but peace grows in a different way. It grows through small, faithful returns. It grows through compassion. It grows through not giving up on yourself just because a hard moment comes back. You may want to write the four thoughts somewhere you can see them, on a small piece of paper, in a notebook, on your phone, near your bed, somewhere simple, not because you are trying to force yourself, but because reminders matter. Fear has had many reminders in your life already. These thoughts deserve a place too. They deserve to be seen. They deserve to be repeated. They deserve to become part of the new language your heart is learning. And as this daily practice becomes more natural, you may begin to notice that anxiety no longer takes over in quite the same way. Perhaps it still appears, but now it meets new words. Perhaps fear still knocks, but it is no longer the only voice in the room. Perhaps the body still becomes tense sometimes, but now it also remembers how to soften. Perhaps life still has questions, but your heart is no longer answering all of them with panic. This is how healing often looks, not perfect calm every second, but a growing ability to return, a growing ability to choose truth over fear, a growing ability to live with more peace. So keep the practice simple. Pause, hand on heart, slow breath, 4 healing thoughts. Let that be enough. Let that be your daily return. Let that be how you remind yourself that peace is still possible, that trust can be rebuilt, that control can be released, and that good can still be welcomed. In a world that often feels rushed and heavy, this simple practice can become a quiet home inside you, a place you return to again and again, a place where anxiety does not get the final word. You are not broken because you have felt anxious. You are not weak because your mind has been tired. You are not failing because fear has visited you. You are human. You have been carrying thoughts, feelings, pressures, and unknowns in the best way you knew how. But now you know something gentler. You know that anxiety does not have to lead every moment. You know that there are healing thoughts strong enough to guide you back to peace. You know that the inner voice can change. You know that the heart can be taught a softer way to live. There is something very important to remember as you move forward. Healing is not always loud. It is not always dramatic. It is not always immediate. Very often, healing is quiet. It is the moment you catch a fearful thought and do not follow it all the way down. It is the moment you place your hand on your heart instead of attacking yourself. It is the moment you choose one breath of peace over one more round of panic. It is the moment you remember that you do not need to control everything. It is the moment you allow a little hope back in. These moments may seem small, but they are not small. They are how a new life begins from the inside. There will still be days when fear tries to return. There will still be moments when the old thoughts knock at the door. That does not mean you are starting over. That does not mean fun. Healing has left you. It only means you are still practicing, and practice is holy. Practice is how peace becomes familiar. Practice is how trust becomes natural. Practice is how the body learns what the heart has been trying to remember. Every time you return to these healing thoughts, you are choosing yourself again. You are choosing calm again. You are choosing openness again. That matters more than perfection ever could. Let these truths stay with you. I am safe in this moment. Life is working for me, not against me. I release the need to control everything. I am open to miracles and good things. These are more than comforting words. They are reminders of how you want to live. They are reminders of what kind of voice you want shaping your days. They are reminders that fear is not the only story available to you. Peace is available too. Trust is available too. Release is available too. Miracles are available too. When the mind says hurry, you can slow down. When the mind says panic, you can breathe. When the mind says control everything, you can soften your grip. When the mind says expect the worst, you can open to the good. This is where your power lives, not in controlling life, but in choosing what kind of thoughts you feed inside yourself, not in knowing every answer, but in returning to truth again and again, not in never feeling fear, but in no longer letting fear speak alone. Perhaps the most beautiful part of this journey is that it brings you back to yourself, not the frightened self that has been carrying everything in tension, but the deeper self underneath, the self that knows how to breathe, the self that knows how to trust, the self that can still feel wonder, the self that has not been destroyed by fear, only covered by it. These healing thoughts do not create that deeper self. They reveal it. They clear some of the noise so you can hear your own wisdom again. They open a path back to the calm that has always been waiting under the surface. So if your heart has been tired, let it rest in something simple now. Let it rest in this knowing. Peace is possible, even here, even now, even for you. No matter how long anxiety has stayed, it does not get to decide your whole future. A new way can begin with one thought, one breath, one return. That is all. You do not have to heal your whole life in one day. You only have to begin where you are, and beginning where you are is enough. Take one more soft breath and let these final words settle gently inside you. You are not alone. You are not forgotten. You are not trapped in fear forever. The doorway to peace is still open. The doorway to healing is still open. The doorway to miracles is still open. And sometimes that doorway opens through something very simple, a new thought. Repeat. Ed with love until the heart begins to believe it. So keep these 4 healing thoughts close. Return to them often. Let them become your quiet anchors in hard moments and your gentle companions in ordinary ones. Let them remind you that peace can be practiced, trust can be rebuilt, control can be released, and good can still enter your life. All is well. I trust life. I am open to peace, healing, and miracles.